Jack Leiter, Delbarton, class of 2019, right-handed pitcher for the Texas Rangers.
Anthony Volpe, Delbarton, class of 2019.
Yes, did you have that?
Yeah, let's lock the doors, Coach. I mean, ever since I was 12 and kind of till now, I just love playing baseball and love having fun playing baseball with my teammates. So I've never really thought about like how other people view me, and I've just tried to focus on enjoying the game and having fun, and that's what I love about baseball and everything like that. So I haven't really thought about it from the outside looking in.
I honestly think everyone knew Anthony Volpe was special from the time he was 12 years old. You heard about him in the travel baseball circuit and kind of just tearing it up, hitting home runs on the little field that might have been home runs on the big field as a 12-year-old, Cooperstown, everything. And so in a way there was a lot of expectations for him as well, because a lot of people are good when they're 12 and it doesn't end up panning out, whatever it might be when they get older. So
I don't think when he was a freshman, even when he was my size, nobody was surprised because everyone saw how hard he was working, and it was only going to be a matter of time.
He kind of did the same type of thing. He put his head down and did what Anthony Volpe does. He worked hard and somehow just kept taking a step up, even though he was dominating at that young age. He just continued to do that as he got older, and I mean, that's still showing to this day.
Yeah, I grew up in New York City, and my parents always tell the story that they moved from New York City to go to public school and not have to pay for where we were going in New York. So I never really knew anything about Delbarton. I didn't know uncles, stuff that went here. So when I went to a football game and I kind of fell in love with it, and the more I got to learn about it and met other people that went here, they really sold me. So when I got the opportunity, it was a no-brainer.
I mean, Delbarton was always my #1 option, and that was kind of clear for me. And once I got in, it was a really happy day. And then I would see Anthony Volpe just around hitting, and we both found out we got into Delbarton and kind of linked up from there, and that's where our friendship started.
It was exactly what I was looking for and what I wanted. I want to be challenged on the baseball field, and I also want to be challenged in the classroom. And it was really the best of both worlds, and I didn't want it any other way. And I think it made me better in both aspects, just being around really good athletes and at the same time really good students. I think it really helped me in both ways.
Coming in as a freshman, obviously, it's pretty intimidating. Again, no different than a freshman on a college campus, because this really is the size of some college campuses. It's beautiful, and it's a lot to take in, and really just tried to enjoy it as much as possible freshman year.
I'm Bruce Shatel, the head baseball coach and head hockey coach at Delbarton School. I've been here for 22 years. Both guys are easy to root for, right? They took care of their business in the classroom. I think our entire community understood from day one that they were an integral part of our team. And as a result, they treated everyone with respect.
So that's the young alumni shirts we're giving
thank
out
you.
today.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're talking about two great baseball players, but two great individuals. Everyone respects them. They are extremely well-mannered, thoughtful, and hardworking. They have all the characteristics that make you want to root for them. And I think that's a special trait that, will never go away with either one of them.
Coach's influence was enormous. I mean, the impact he had on not just me, but everyone he coached, obviously hockey and baseball. That's really impressive and hard to do with the success rate that he's had. But just the impact on and off the field is something that I'll never forget, and I really do attribute a lot of the successes that I had after Delbarton to my time at Delbarton with Coach.
Yeah, I always said the baseball players were by far the hockey team's biggest fans, because this day after the state championship in hockey was the first day of baseball practice. So we always wanted Coach Shatel in a really good mood coming off a hockey season. So we definitely had a lot more rooting interest in those state championship games.
That's a pretty good observation. Two bright guys, recognizing that our state final in hockey is a first week in March, and then we transition right to baseball, and we usually have a week together in Florida for our spring training. So I guess the end of the hockey season will dictate my mood when I step on that baseball field in the start of the season.
Through middle school, I was an undersized kid, and never dominated in any of the sports I played. I really enjoyed them, and I really enjoyed watching sports, and that's kind of how I had a feeling that just work hard and listen to what my dad was telling me and my coaches, and kind of things would start to click as I grew a little later than some other kids do.
Call your shot. Dude, you pulled your head out just like Posey was doing.
So coming in as a freshman, it was the same type of situation. I was an undersized kid. I didn't start out on varsity freshman year, and kind of just worked my way up in that way. And just like anything else, you put your head down, you keep working hard, and just focus on what you can do to get better each and every day. And that's kind of what I did, and it I guess worked out in the end at Delbarton.
Well, we knew the gene pool was good, right? And Jack, as a 9th grader, was a baseball player. I thought that Jack could have been a dual player for us, play second base, pitch a little bit. And I had an opportunity late in the season, his freshman year, to pitch him, give him a start, and he performed at a high level, and he threw strikes, and he was competitive. And I thought to myself, if this guy could make a jump, he's going to be a weekend starter for us his sophomore year. And the rest was kind of history. When he came as a sophomore, he went from throwing the ball 80 miles an hour to throwing the ball 90 miles an hour.
But what game do you remember kind of as like a defining moment for, I guess, our program, or the setting or whatever? Because I have one in mind.
I mean, for me, the first one that comes to mind is the one against West Morris, just because of the build-up of that game.
And you guys with all your on social media trying to get after them. Mm-hmm. So that was an emotional game.
And I think he had a home run in the first inning.
Yeah, I think it was, I guess some days were harder than others, but at the same time, that's where it helped having Jack there too, because he was a little bit more than me, if not the same, and we kind of we're going through the exact same thing together, and having him just be so present, just the same way that I was trying to be, really helped. And at the same time, it's probably made to be a little bigger thing than it actually is, but when you're in the moment and you're with your best friends in the world just playing the game you love, it's really not probably as hard as it seems.
Yeah, you just got to let him go. That kid can't play enough baseball, right? So Anthony is a guy that would be the first one to the locker room, last one to leave, loves the game as much as any player that I've ever coached. And, in every facet of the game he wanted to master, whether it's bunting the baseball, stealing a base, his defensive play. He was a real student of the game and real exciting to watch. Yeah, it was like Christmas, basically, when we knew Anthony Volpe was coming to Delbarton.
What other big game did you kind of ignite us?
When I bunted against Seton Hall Prep.
Yeah, we had 2,000 people here, remember?
Yeah.
And you let off that inning, and then it became a bunt-a-thump. And and that was a huge win. I mean, and I think the next game was a state final, right?
Yeah.
I can't thank the both of you enough for this, and this is kind of awkward, but this is on camera. But it means a lot to me. It means a lot to our school. I want to thank you guys.
Anytime.
Okay, you're the best. All right. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Okay. Good job, my man. Thank you. Okay.
I would say there's an innate pressure, I guess, of being the son of a major leaguer, the nephew of a major leaguer, sort of all the things that are tied to that. But it's really just about how you handle it, and if you're kind of process-oriented and you just focus each and every day on, enjoying life off the field, being a good teammate, being a good person, and doing everything you can to be a good baseball player. Obviously, some people might say, well, whatever, didn't have to work as hard because the genes or anything like that, and that's outside perceptions, and kind of just people don't really know the work that goes into it, but that's okay too. And that's really what helped, is being around my friends at Delbarton, but especially my teammates in this locker room and just on campus. You know, they treated me like any other guy, and that's kind of what I would expect from a good teammate.
Yeah, I'd be lying to say if it wasn't huge, just having him at practice our senior year pretty much every day, and just having him just kind of set you straight on the things that matter and the things that don't. And at the end of the day, it's really all about having fun. And when we were in high school, it was just being in the present and enjoying the time with your teammates. As
attention sort of started to shift towards Anthony, me, and a bunch of the other guys, honestly, just the whole Delbarton baseball program, I think that was important to kind of not let it get to our head and just keep doing what we've always done and work hard and kind of play for each other. And I think having Anthony there, someone like him, was really helpful, because he's the most humble kid I've ever met. So that's kind of all he knows, is just to keep working and kind of do it for his teammates and be a good friend and a good leader. So kind of working off of him and working off some of the other guys who had come before me. And when I was just a freshman and sophomore, some of those seniors were really good leaders, and they kind of taught me how to do that.
Now looking back, those are the moments you cherish. It's not even really winning. Sometimes it's going out to eat after a game, or just hanging out early in the locker room and stuff like that. So I think what Mr. Leiter stressed, which was that, just to have fun and enjoy the time, was probably what I took away the most.
Anthony and I had really similar perspectives on the whole college professional baseball thing. We, you know, unless it was something really special, the opportunity in professional baseball, we were excited to make it to campus at Vanderbilt and hopefully make an impact there. And both our families thought academics were really important, and we still think that to this day. That's kind of carried on. Obviously, we ended up going different paths out of high school, but it really was just two right answers.
But this is about Jack Leiter. Let me tell you something about Jack Leiter. That curveball is filthy, and it can play right now in the big leagues. He can start in the full hole.
If I had a chance to watch the SEC network and see Jack Leiter on a Friday or Saturday night, you know, that's the perfect night for me, you know.
It's pretty surreal, just because when we were at Delbarton, I mean, we were as much as peers as you can possibly be, and we were always working hard, doing everything together. And now that, even though we're definitely parallel but just kind of separated, it's just cool to follow. And when he was at Vandy, obviously I was the biggest fan, and it's just been really, really cool to see his journey, just because, like I said, I know how hard he works and how much he's always put in. It's never been, now that the draft's coming, I'm going to work really hard. It's just who he's always been, so that's been really cool.
With the 30th selection of the 2019 MLB Draft, the New York Yankees select Anthony Volpe, a shortstop from Delbarton School in Morristown, New Jersey.
The one thing that I'd love to look for in young players when they go into big events is how well they slow the game down. This young man all the time slowed the game down in the biggest moments exceptionally well.
Looking back, I feel like I'd want it to seem more stressful than it actually was in the moment, but I had such a good support system, and at the end of the day, it was just such a win-win whichever way I went. So it ended up not really being stressful at all, just because, like I said, we had such a good team, and we had so much we were playing for, trying to win the state championship. So it was just taking everything step by step, a day at a time, and luckily we won the state championship and the draft worked out. So,
with the second pick of the 2021 MLB Draft, the Texas Rangers select Jack Leiter, a right-handed pitcher from Vanderbilt University.
He's more than just a fastball pitcher. That's a plus pitch, and a lot of scouts have graded as some of the best fastball. Al's having a good time.
Oh, our friend Al Leiter, his wife Lori, the whole family, as Jack Leiter was just selected number 2 overall.
It was a surreal moment for everyone, and I'm really happy that I got to have coaches there leading. I mean, all the way back to my middle school coach was in our house that night, and some strength coaches from high school, and really just everyone that had an impact on my life, especially coach. And it was special for all of us, and I'm happy I got to share that with everyone.
Yeah, they've been huge. I think I'm a very firm believer in if you're going to be disciplined on the baseball field, you have to be disciplined in every other aspect of your life. And I just think that accountability that everyone involved with Delbarton kind of forces you to have just helps you in every aspect. And that's something that in the moment sometimes you don't really like. Sometimes it's obviously hard, but I think in the long run it's definitely for the better.
Well, I was fortunate, in 19 and then this past draft, to see both of them go in the first round. That's a surreal moment, right? Those boys were in my locker room for 4 years, and to see them have that kind of recognition and opportunity to further their career you just can't put it into words. And was I surprised? No, not in the least bit, because I know how hard each of them work at their craft.
I think what separates the Delbarton baseball program from other programs is Delbarton itself, the kind of the culture that's developed in the school, and all the kids being super competitive in both the classroom and on the field. It really does carry over, and Coach Corbin at Vanderbilt always says the same thing. He says if you take care of your work in the classroom, kind of the work on the field starts to take care of itself even more. And I think that shows at Delbarton, because it's all kids who really care about their academics and their studies, and that kind of helps schedule out the day for itself, and it really helps make kids productive and more successful on the field.
Yeah, I'd say at Delbarton it was way easier to have a routine, because like I said, you're forced to unless you fall behind. So now that I have a lot more free time, waking up and getting ready for games, I kind of try and think back to what I did at Delbarton and just how regimented my day was, and it's really helped me a lot just to stay on top of everything, and it's something I'm definitely going to keep on doing going forward.
Well, thank God for social media, right? So I mean, I follow these guys, whatever team they're on, and I wake up in the morning and I look forward to keeping my tabs on them, and seeing the success that they have had, brings a sense of pride to me, but to the entire school community. I think these two gentlemen have represented our school in an unbelievable fashion, and they're going to continue to do that.
I mean, through high school, I think we really helped each other better themselves, because I still to this day say that he's the toughest out I face. He's never an easy out. He kind of knows what I have, because we faced each other so much, and I do think it makes both of us better.
Well, it'll be extremely gratifying, right? So if I ever get to see Jack pitch against Anthony in the big leagues, it's going to be a real smile for me. Jack's probably going to start him with a breaking ball, because you just know Anthony and how competitive he is. But that will be something that, I could be mistaken, but it's something that I will really, enjoy and take a lot of pride in, knowing that both of them are extremely high competitive players and talented players, and just watch them compete against one another. That'd be really a thrill for me.
Definitely. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, I feel like we probably have at least 100 at-bats between each other up to this point, so yeah, that'd really even give me goosebumps thinking about it now, but that'd be awesome.
I've honestly not thought much about that, but that would be really cool. That would be kind of a moment to step off the mound and kind of just take in how cool of a moment it was if I faced Anthony Volpe in pinstripes in Yankee Stadium. That'd be really cool. So I guess that's something to add to the bucket list.
It's going to be really awesome, and it has been up to this point. And at the same time, if we weren't baseball players and doing all this stuff, it'd be the exact same. I think that's the best part of it. At the end of the day, if I text him in the middle of the season, we wouldn't be talking about baseball. And I think that's, for me at least, that's the best part of it, because at the same time, you have to get your mind away. And having those guys that you grew up with and your best buddies, during the season, during the thick of it, sometimes you don't want to talk about it, and they all understand that. So,
the word brotherhood might seem cliche to most, but our students, our players, they buy in, and once they live it, they understand. And I think both of these guys will do anything for any one of their teammates that they played with. And it holds true for our school community, the way our alums take care of our graduates, and it's a very special place that I'm proud to be a part of.
I think Delbarton's kind of a no-brainer for kids considering a high school. I mean, even if you're not an athlete, it's such a special place. Just the friendships that you build here. I still talk to my friends. Even when I'm super busy in season, I still talk to them each and every day. And I don't think there were any bigger fans of mine other than my family than my Delbarton friends during this season. They watched every start, and even the games I didn't start, they learned to love Vanderbilt baseball, and then they also loved, North Carolina baseball, Virginia baseball, wherever other Delbarton guys end up. Obviously the Yankees, the other Delbarton guys are always going to support you, and once it's time for the off season and you're back home, like a time like now, Thanksgiving, you meet up with those same Delbarton friends that you were with freshman year walking the halls, and that's a really special thing.